Okay, girls, I'm going to record another brief video here covering section 1.5, which is about multiplying rational numbers. I'm not taking a whole lot of time on these lessons. One reason is because we actually touched on all these concepts last year, and so this is a little bit of review still for you. Another reason is because all of my Algebra 1 videos from last year are still available on YouTube, and they were a little bit longer than what I'm recording for you today, probably a little bit more in detail. I worked a few more example problems, and so if what I'm recording for you right now is not enough and you need a little more work, then all you got to do is have Sister Misty look up the lesson 1.4 or the lesson 1.5 from last year. It's still in my YouTube feed, and it would be easy for her to find it, and you could watch that as well. The lesson today is about multiplying integers. And at the beginning of the lesson, there's a table that lists a lot of properties: commutative property, associative property, distributive property, identity property. Those properties are posted on posters all around this room. I think I have maybe 3 posters hanging on the wall that list out these different properties of integers. And so if you forget what those words mean and how those properties work, there are posters with example problems on the wall. Also, my videos from last year, I probably went a little bit more in detail about those properties if you need to watch those. We're talking about multiplying integers today, and there's just 2 basic steps to a problem when you're multiplying integers, and those steps are listed right here. The first thing you do is multiply the integers. Take the numbers in the problem, forget their signs, use your calculator, multiply them, write down your answer. After you've done that, go to step 2. Go back to your problem and count the negative signs in the problem. If there's an even number of negative signs in the problem, you'll have a positive answer. If there's an odd number of negative signs in the problem, you'll have a negative answer. Let me do a couple of examples. Negative 2 times 9, multiply my integers. 2 times 9 is 18. Count my negative signs. 1. 1's an odd number, I'll have a negative answer. Another example. Negative 4 times negative 6. Multiply my integers. 4 times 6 is 24. Go back and count my negative signs. 2. 2 is an even number, so I'll have a positive answer. And I'm done. It's that simple. This multiplication rule is actually listed in your book in lesson 1.5 about the middle of a page. It says, number 1, if there's an even number of negative factors, the product or the answer is positive. Number 2, if there's an odd number of negative factors, the product or the answer is negative. Okay? Let's look at a couple more examples right quick. If I have negative 2 times negative 3 times negative 5, step 1, multiply the integers. 2 times 3 is 6, 6 times 5 is 30. Now, count the negative signs. 1, 2, 3. 3 is an odd number. I have a negative answer. 4 times negative 3 times negative 1. Multiply the integers. 4 times 3 is 12. 12 times 1 is 12. Count the negative signs. 2 negative signs. 2 is an even number. I have a positive answer. And it's that simple. Works the very same way if I'm working with decimal numbers. And example 3 in your book is negative 4.28 times 5.31. Just take those 2 decimal numbers, 4.28 times 5.31. Do that on the calculator. Write your answer down. You're going to get 22.7268. Now, go back to your problem and count negative signs. There was 1 negative sign. That's an odd number, so you need a negative in front of your final answer. And it works the same way if we're doing fractions. Example 4 in your book is negative 3/4 times negative 7/8, just like this. Step 1, multiply the integers. Put 3/4 times 7/8 in your calculator, and it's going to give you 21 over 32. Go back to your problem and count your negative signs. 2 negatives, that's a positive answer because I have an even number of negative signs. Would work the same way if I was dealing with mixed numbers. Doesn't matter. It's still the same rules. Still the same rules. Now, the other thing that shows up in this lesson is unit multipliers. That's converting from one type of measurement to another type of measurement. We do unit multiplication with a fraction. Let me see if I'm even going to assign you any problems that involve that. I'll assign a couple. So let's go ahead and cover unit multiplication. Again, if I go too fast and don't go into enough detail, have Sister Misty look up lesson 1.5 from last year and watch those videos so that you get a full and thorough explanation. What if I have to convert 51 inches to feet? Okay? The first thing I'm going to do is take 51 inches and make it a fraction. Okay? Now I'm going to say, what do I know about inches and feet? I know that 12 inches equals 1 foot, right? You know that as well. I'm going to make this a fraction. I'm going to put 12 inches on the bottom and 1 foot on the top, and here's why. Now I'm going to multiply by this fraction, which is called a unit multiplier, okay? It's also called a conversion factor. It's a fraction that helps me change from one kind of measurement to another. The reason I put inches on the bottom is because I'm wanting to get rid of inches and change everything to feet. And if inches show up diagonally across from each other, I can cancel out the inches and all I have left are feet. Now I multiply numerators. 51 times 1 is 51. And I multiply denominators. 1 times 12 is 12. Now I use my calculator to say what is 51 divided by 12, and I find that it's 4.5. And the only unit of measurement left in my problem is feet. So I have successfully changed 51 inches into 4.5 feet. Let me do another example for you where I might need to use more than one conversion factor. What if I have 2 miles and I want to change that to inches? Well, I'm definitely going to use several conversion factors here. The first thing I'm going to do, though, is take 2 miles and make it a fraction. Now, I want to multiply it by another fraction that has miles in it. So what do I know about miles? Well, I know that there are 5,280 feet in 1 mile. So I'm going to make a fraction here that says 5,280 feet in 1 mile. That should say 1 mi for mile. I put miles on the bottom again because I want to cancel out miles. I'm trying to get rid of miles and get inches. Well, if I cancel out miles and stop right here, I'm going to have feet, but I won't have inches yet. So I need to use another conversion factor, this one up here, that will change my feet into inches. Once again, now feet needs to cancel. So I need to put 1 foot here and 12 inches here. Now watch what happens. Miles and miles cancel. Feet and feet cancel. The only unit of measurement left in my answer is inches. So I have my problem set up correctly. Now I start the process of multiplying. 2 times 5,280 times 12 is 126,720. 1 times 1 times 1 is 1, right? Now 126,720 over 1 is just equal to 126,720 inches. How do I know I've got inches now? Because I canceled out the miles, I canceled out the feet, and all that's left were inches. Okay, the assignment I want you to work for this lesson is going to be problems 2 through 26 even. And then I want you to work problems 35 through 38, every one of them. Problem 35 through 38. That's 4 problems involving conversion factors.